When dealing with simple interest, one valuable resource to find is the interest amount. The interest amount tells you how much interest you've gained on your principal. So one way you can find interest amount is by using this formula, I equals PRT. Here, I is equal to your interest amount, P is equal to your principal, R is equal to your interest rate, and T is equal to time. Note that your interest rate is typically given in annual terms. That means yearly terms. That means that your time also has to be in yearly terms, unless the question states otherwise. Let's try an example. Given P equals 2000, R equals 7.5%, and T equals 9 months, find I. Well, we know how to do that. Just plug in this equation. So I is equal to 2000, that's our principal, times, the brackets just mean multiplication, 7.5%, and then times our T, which is 9 months. However, if you remember what I said earlier, time has to be in years because our interest rate is expressed in years, and they need to be expressed in the same unit. So what can we do to get this 9 months into years? Well, we can divide by 12. 9 divided by 12 is how much 9 months is worth relative to a year. So now that's our time in years, 9 divided by 12. 9 months divided by 12 months gives us the yearly value. So if we simplify further, we see that we have a percent over here. Now, how do we get rid of a percentage sign? We divide it by 100 or move the decimal to the left by 2 places. So let's just divide it by 100 and you have 0.075. That's our decimal times 9 divided by 12. And just so more insight on that, I'll put it over here. So we have 7.5%. If we divide it by 100 on your calculator, you'll see that it's equal to 0.75. But say if you just want to move the decimals, so you could assume that it's actually written like this, 0.705, and to turn a percentage into a decimal, you would just move the decimal 2 spaces and move it over here. So now you're given 0.075. So now that we have our equation written out and we understand how we simplified to this step, we can just plop it into a calculator and get our final answer. So our principal is 2000, our R expressed in decimals in a yearly amount is 0.075, and then our time expressed in a yearly amount is 9 divided by 12. If we put that into a calculator while paying attention to our brackets, because we are dealing with bedmass, in math you always have to pay attention to bedmass, you should get 112.5. Therefore, our I is equal to 112.5. Now, what does this 112.5 mean? Well, it means that over this amount of time, over 9 months, 9 months out of your year, with an interest rate of 7.5% per year and a principal, so the initial amount you invested of $2,000, you're going to make $112.5 more on this principal. That's the amount of interest you have earned. Moving on, let's go to another example. So, see that our P is now equal to 10,000, our R is equal to 4.2, and our T is equal to 2 years. Find I. Well, the first thing I want to point out is now that this is in years, we don't need to do the division by 12 because it's already in years. If it's at 24 months instead of 2 years, then we would still need to do the division by 12, but because it's given in years, we don't need to worry about that. So let's start by writing the equation. So our principal is 10,000. Our rate is 4.2%, and our T is 2 years. Now simplifying this further, to turn the percentage into a decimal, we could divide it by 100 or move it 2 decimals to the left, whichever you prefer. You'll get 0.042 times the 2, and then we could put it into a calculator, and we should get 20,000 times 0.042. And now we could put that step into a calculator. $840. That is the interest amount. Therefore, I is equal to $840, and what that means is that the interest you earned on a principal of $10,000 put in a 4.2% interest rate per year for 2 years loan, or you get an interest earned of $840.